I'm actually intrigued to see if we're going to see any changes there in Picado. We saw Knights being able to just concede that spot very quickly to Vampire Esports. It did end up working out for them because of the circle that we had, but I would be surprised if maybe we get more of a favorable circle, more of a center circle, if Knights is willing to take a fight with Vampire Esports, if they do hot drop each other in Imperium.
Yeah, definitely. And Miramar has always been a tricky map when it comes to drop spots and looting, because it's so city heavy from a loot standpoint that compared to Erangel and Sanhok, arguably you tend to get a couple more hot drops in play. Right now, Udo Alliance has lost Leona's ult to themselves. I would possibly, if there's a team in the lobby that has lost Leona's as a hot drop in their own regional tournaments, that is a place that is more than capable of holding on to two teams. So that's something that could be down the line in day 2, day 3, or day 4.
Yes, indeed. Let's take a look here at your guys' teams to watch here in this upcoming Miramar match. Oh, I see the Knights is on both of y'all's picks here. Why the Knights?
Just because of what we saw. I mean, Coops being able to wake up, Coops being able to get those eliminations, and then the team being able to back him up too. I didn't agree, and when we were watching that game, we didn't agree on the 2-2 split that they did there towards the end. I wish they would have just actually chose to side. But besides Knights, another team that I'm actually going to be looking at here is going to be towards this. Performed that well, 15th place, but the previous Miramar, they were actually able to put up 11 points, so hopefully they're going to be able to take advantage of Miramar here once again and put up some great points up here.
And for the opposite side, I put Godlike Starboard on my teams to watch because the majority of their points have come from Erangel. And yet, that's not technically a bad thing, but you need to have the likes of Miramar under your belt. You need to be able to find a bit of stability there. And in this Miramar game, they need to follow up on that chicken dinner with another stable result. And of course, I had to put up Knights up there, similar to what you said, Seven. They performed good in the previous game. They're backing each other up. They could have pushed up onto Down 1 Gaming when they were fighting up against Inco. They chose their path. It didn't work out in that game.
Yeah, so far teams that have won haven't actually performed really well on the match after that. So I will be intrigued to see what Godlike Star Wars is going to be able to do.
Yeah, so many different teams to keep an eye out on here. This is the last Miramar of the day. This is the big show, and I think it's about time we get it going. Let's take it on over to our casters.
Thanks very much, Dukes. We're going to be getting into, as you say, the final Miramar of the day. Going to be tuning in with that Picado, not necessarily hot drop, a warm drop, I will say, between these two teams over in Picado. Taking a look at a couple of these other squads as well. Where are they going to go? Are there going to be adjustments?
Yeah, as far as adjustments goes, I don't think there's going to be too many adjustments because everyone got to loot where they wanted to. That previous Miramar game, it's hard to make adjustments for, in my opinion, because it was such a polar circle, right? It was all the way down to the southwest, so it's not like there's anything that teams should be looking to change up, per se.
Potentially not. I think the only adjustment might be Vampire and the Pittsburgh Knights, but even then, they were perfectly happy to both loot the area. Pittsburgh Knights then just disengaged from it, right? And there was no real conflict.
Yeah, I think both teams also had the loot they wanted. They both had the vehicles, right? So we might see that warm drop again. I don't think either team really slowed each other down either. It seemed like the Knights left whenever they wanted to, and Vampire decided to just stay around and loot a bit longer. So we'll see what happens this time around. I think the more deciding factor for this Miramar game is just simply where is the circle going to be, and also the plane path as well.
Hopefully, Godlike Stalwart can carry momentum forwards into this game as well, because their last Miramar pretty drastic in terms of the upheaval that it could have caused. Look at that, that's focus coming through in the middle. Oh dear. Looking a little bit laid back over on Vampire, seemingly happy with their last game. Obviously, that double kill down the hill from Schweppes was pretty chunky.
Those 2 points were, in a way, gifted to them. I think it was as they were driving down, right? They took a lot of bullet damage from the other squad, by the time they got down to Schweppes just pumped that car with 1 DBS shot, and it just blew up instantly. And we're looking at the plane path here. This is not a very good plane path.
That's a deep cut on the south, right? Going from La Driera down to Puerto Paraiso, and it's not going to be pleasant, especially for, I think it was Alpha 7 who dropped in Torre Hamada, Tierra Bronca on the split. HVVP might struggle as well. Depends where the circle goes, though.
Yeah, I think everyone does have some sort of backup in mind for when the plane path does come down this way all the way down to south. You see Alpha 7 already jumping out very early, stretching to the northwestern side. They might actually go loot ruins in the trailer park area, seeming from the trajectory they're going towards. Damwon sticking true to their Valdemar on the southwest. Everyone else stretching out to the north. We might see some engagements very early on, just by the means of rotations and fighting for these vehicles off drop.
Like Ketch is going to crack on with a party bus. For Fireflux, fairly central. You can see him just to the southwest of Picardo. Team's still in their parachutes, though. Vampire looking to drop in towards Picardo. Looks like we will see the drop, both of these teams close by. Don't imagine we'll see too much, but the circle just came on the screen at the end there. It does go northeast, so it allows teams to move up a little bit further north if they want to.
Vampire on the aggression this time. First time around, Knights got the north side, Vampire stuck to their south side. This time around, Vampire is dropping even deeper into the north, not dropping into the casino or that high-rise building. So Vampire looking for a fight, or probably to just claim this spot as their own for the rest of the tournament.
Pittsburgh Knights looking to pick up some weapons. Spec only with the Winnie there. Might have another one on the back, but it's actually Coops to find the first. And hang on a minute.
Wait.
That's not a Vampire player. What? Okay. Well, Coops gonna kick it off well.
Why? How did Coops even spot? Okay. You have a four-man team dropping in front of you, and you have the wherewithal to look behind you with the mini and pick up a play. Wow. Okay.
I mean
you
one of their
answered it.
players.
It's Coops.
one of their players dropped in late, so maybe they were just completely on the swivel. I mean, you know that they're not pushing aggressively, maybe, so you're sort of just keeping an eye out or just catching it in peripherals.
Oh, no.
Oh dear, another difficult position. This is not good news for Oh, no. Oh, this is awful. Godlike Stalwart. It's back to business for Stalwart. They are getting torn up. One player left, and we're only 3 minutes into the game. I feel so bad for those boys.
That was a drive-by with shotguns and a Winchester.
That's...
Okay, all right, Spec here.
I mean, anybody but Stalwart, please.
I don't even think that's a table slam moment for them. I think that's just a sigh of, like,
Guess here we go again.
Yeah. All right, Spec. He's got support. He's got supporting sight lines, so Spec is able to back up some. So playing to his teammates really well, but getting shot from a different angle is going to force him back inside the building, and Spec will go down. 3v4 situation. The Knights on the back foot. It kind of comes down to Xenox's position. If they don't know he's up here, and that's a big if, Xenox might be able to do something.
We'll hear those footsteps underneath.
Exactly, yeah.
So knows there's a player up top there for them. Stoned on the outlook. Tensor. Coops holding on the high ground at the back. Looking for a little bit of an answer. Fluketh with that Winnie. Wants to sling a round or two out towards Tensor, but Tensor's not giving him an inch.
Slowing down a little bit here. It looks like Vampire, with that advantage, it looks like they're going to spread out a little bit to find an angle. I think they're mainly trying to deal with Xenox. I think they know he's up here. And I do believe if he gets all the way to the top of the roof, he might be able to just get a very slim angle onto Xenox, even if he stays prone. And there we go.
There it is.
Yep. The Knights now down to 2 players.
Ravenclaw does get answer towards Coops is still on the warpath.
Coops again.
Picks up the backstop, and that could be quite important, although losing Xenox early, it's not going to be ideal. Leaves Coops and Tensor operating as a duo. In the meantime, hang on a minute, Nova running down power there. Wait, Gakka was in the last map. Gakka was the last time. Come on, stop that.
I'm looking here.
Northeast.
So Nova's looting Minas, and that's actually... I love how we don't even have time to talk about where the first circle comes up. Before this match, I'm like, the most important thing coming into this Miramar match is the plane path and circle, and we haven't even touched on the circle yet. Circle is northeast, dead center is Minas, and that is where Nova's looting. HVVP losing one member, 1 million, getting a bit more aggressive now as they do get a knock. He's looking for the confirmation, but the rest of HVVP is here to bail out Tixie, their MVP player so far for the day.
I'm surprised Venom didn't hop out for that. I feel like he had time. He had the position, but being so split on the back from 1 million, they are completely on the way. Maybe they were just like, you know what? Just don't even bother. We're not going to try and challenge HVVP. We know how strong they are in fights. We've seen that over the last couple of games.
Yeah. HVVP will get that reset. And so that fight with Power. So Power was actually... I think it was just a very delayed rotation to the plane path. Power's going up to El Azahar. They swung through Minas, and they were able to catch one player. Alpha 7 now in Inko taking fight. Nice swing out by Revo with the M16. He's going to pick up an elimination. And this is all the way in the northeast, so Alpha 7 did... from the northwest all the way to the northeast, looting that Campo Militar area, and Inko's also there, and we got another fight happening with the last lone member. This might be 2 points for him. I don't think they know there's a solo player here. He might pick up the 1v2.
He's playing at the top of the staircase as well. Likely that he can pick up at least one here if Solke goes up the staircase. Oh! Lutz saw him. He was ready. That is... I mean...
I think he left the vehicle there.
It kind of had to happen, right? Yeah. Like, it got like Stalwart. You had your chicken dinner. Now it's back to getting no points on a game. You know, just chill out.
That's rough.
That is really rough. It is really rough.
Yeah. I like how our camera guy also was kind of caught off by surprise because he was like, wait, huh? Had to zoom the camera back out.
Yeah.
Jumped to another angle. Like, oh, that's what happened. And that is Star Wars once again out. But, okay, overall, this is only day one, right? They're in 6th place. They go out with 0 points. That sucks. But this is day one. We got a couple more days. So they're not in the worst of positions, right? They're not in the worst of it, but they're definitely not happy with how inconsistent they have been performing.
Needs to step up a little bit. I mean, teams like Fireflux, Power also just have had much less of an impact. And those teams towards the bottom not really doing so great, not so hot. With the Pittsburgh Knights down to 2, you'd imagine they're not going to be cooking anytime soon either.
Speaking about cooking, Bacon Time. Huge first game, and since then we haven't really seen too much of them. They're hovering around 10th right now. And Damwon Gaming, that was a team that we had a question mark coming into today, right? Damwon Gaming, absolutely amazing performance on last year's group stage of PMGC, and then they finished 11th in the grand finals. So coming into this one, it looks like they are struggling quite a little bit. And the circle did shift once again towards the east. We have a lot of water in play. That is how far east this circle has shifted.
It is kind of crazy how much it is keeping that water in. It is magnetized to the east coast. I mean, we had dramatic water shifts over in the first group as well, over in Group Red. So that's kind of been a theme, I guess, to keep it on running here into Group Green. A lot of teams making their way in. There is still quite a lot of ground around this area, a lot of cliffs to play with.
Yeah.
No, not super large amounts of high ground. I kind of like this area.
Yeah, it's an area of the map that we don't get to see too often either, right? But it is still good for competitive play. A lot of options for teams, a lot of dynamic situations for teams to navigate. So we'll soon see how these teams decide to play it out as USG rotates right into the position of Inko. And I don't know if this is going to be a full committed fight or maybe just a little peek here and there, but seems like it is going to be a fight indeed. They have the nades already primed as well, John.
They are ready to go for this one. Up to the top of the bell tower to try and dribble them on down, but if Missile gets caught, an excellent bank off the door frame from Vitu2K. Picks up 3 points for that one. Unfortunately not in the tables, but it certainly would be a swish.
Swish indeed. We've got 2 more nades coming in. We do have 1 player of Inko on the mountaintop providing support, but I feel like in this close encampment area, and Inko down to... Does Inko have... Yeah, Inko only down to 3. He might need to just drive down here and take the fight straight to USG, and USG answers back with another nade.
There's going to be nades on top of this engagement. I think they're going to figure out which buildings they're in, which corners they're hiding around, and just pop that ordnance down range. 52K. Still, though, uncontested at this stage. This is on the north side of the current circle. We'll close in just a little bit. Vito2K gets information, sees the player pushing close.
Yeah. Missile's like, someone naded me, okay? Somebody naded me, and it's not the guy in the church. There's someone still here. They're looking for him. But it looks like Nenebete has problems of his own as he retreats from the fight and runs into a power member. It's a 1v3 pretty much for him here. And he gets tagged in the back by a different team completely. Look at where this circle is going. Nenebete down to 1 HP. Not looking good on the low ground as well. Not much he could do here. He might just want to lay low. And there we go. The support fire from the other team of Evos actually gets the knock.
Keeps him alive. Actually has the medkit as well, so can get back to full HP. A nice little turn of events for Nenebete. Up and over the ridge. Looks for the flush, looks for the spray, and it's good. That is bold, but it needs to happen. When you're down to 2 like that, it's just a good trade. You take that point where you can get it. You know you're not going to get too much further. VT2K might have an impact on this fight as well.
I like how he's scooched from next to the doorway all the way back to beneath the stairs, trying to stay as small as possible right now. Last member up, and the zone pulled away from the water, so we do have this flat, hilly high ground in play. We see a lot of teams starting to converge around here, and then we do have, down to the middle of the map, we have that road splitting right in between everything with some very strong compounds too left in play along the roadside.
Evos playing with 4 very central in a compound in their buildings. They've got oversight over to the hills. The power currently occupying a whole host of teams are ready to slip on in behind if the opportunity presents itself. Nova taking a wide split over towards Junkyard Way on the southeast of it.
HVVP on this very southeastern side. They don't have anybody to their back besides 1 solo member of the Yudu Alliance, which might cause trouble. And Damwon Gaming is here now. Now it's USG versus Damwon Gaming, and there's still that solo player of Vitu lying in the wake.
Well, Damwon are going to be much more cautious of it. They might get spotted. Vitu2K stands up, though, and looks for the point, looks for the flush. Able to get it done, and Damwon are thinking, hang on a minute, there's 2 teams here? What's going on? And USG Donuts will flee around the side with certainly one of their players, leaving one of them behind. Just Lufa on the inside has got some nice angles to play with. Floods out towards the south side of the building. Trying to play, but there's a broadside to the mountain. Damwon moving on in. Want to take control, but Missile's there and forces them to a single side of this engagement.
Yeah, Lufa right now really needs to play in the support lines of his 2 teammates on the high ground, but instead he isolates himself inside the building. More difficult, easier said than done, actually, should I say, for Lufa in that situation, as there's other teams coming near the top side. Skylight's Gaming now on the northern side. A lot of teams on that area looking to get a piece of the action.
Seems like Tixie knows something's up, but doesn't realize just how close they have their player there. For the Yudu Alliance, the circle goes towards Evos Central. They will keep that one in. Fireflux as well. Very, very middle position. I feel like HVVP also have a really solid spot. I mean, on the south side, no one really actually playing in the same direction.
Yeah. Actually, this is like almost perfect for them because if they need to go up north, they have those ridge lines to work with, and nobody's really going to stop them either because further up on those ridge lines, there's just flat terrain with compounds, and that's where most of every other team is going to be. So this could be a big game for them as Tensa accidentally mollies himself. Coops, 1 HP, gets taken out, and that is the Knights with another rough game.
Big fat L, really, on that game. They lose the Picardo, and they just get picked apart. 15th place, 1 elimination. It's going to keep them in 12th position in that red zone, in the zone that will not even make it to the survival bracket.
Yeah.
So you do want to be getting a little bit ahead of the game here.
Bacon time with 4 into the late game. We might see another big performance by them. We saw it in the first game, and then they kind of went quiet since. And with the way the zone is playing out right now, with how many teams are up alive, I think we're about to see a lot of fights happen on every side very suddenly.
Down 1. A knock over their way. Fireflux trying to keep this spread going, and it's working out for now in a central location. They don't really have to worry too much about Evos because they have got this nice high ground. Actually, it looks like they might want to regroup, actually. Clump a little bit closer together. That's their decision.
Yeah. It's always tough in this situation when you have so many ridges to work with. Not sure where to go. Bacon time. One player running into Paraboy, and Paraboy almost goes down but wins that one. That was a crucial one right there as Bacon time's looking to pressure the side of Nova and take over the western control of this zone. But that one knock might just send Bacon time packing the other way.
Inco eliminated as well in the meantime. Not doing quite so well as their Brazilian compatriots. Alpha 7. Way further up the tables at the moment. Nova and HVVP just that little bit further ahead. Nova playing on the southwest side, HVVP split on the south. They did take care of the solo player on their south from Udo Alliance earlier on. So there is no longer that snake threat.
1 million on the northeast. Fighting with Damwon Gaming. It is just a slow grind of a fight right now. Everybody's just trying to stay alive to see the next zone rather than full committing in fights. The terrain also makes it extremely difficult, right? Both teams, no matter where they're fighting, has all these ridges to work with, and pushing over the top of a ridge always dangerous as more action happening in the elimination feed, and Skylights Gaming find themselves caught against the side of Alpha 7. A lot of long-range exchanges here, too.
Udo Alliance taking shots from 1 million on the northeast side. Down 1, already taking a knock. That north edge looking a little bit hot right now. Pretty spicy. As you say, that engagement starting to pop off. Alpha 7 really running it down, though. And will be dogged in their pursuit of these eliminations. 2 already found in the shack. They've managed to corner Boro for Skylights Gaming. And they will look to put the final nail in. Carrillo is there, and he'll catch this rotate. No way you get away from him. And that is Skylights down. They will be eliminated 12th place. Alpha 7 up to 5 limbs on the north side.
Yeah, Alpha 7, always the aggressor. Works out great for them. 1 million actually getting very aggressive here. This is what I like to see. They've been playing very quiet and consistent. This is not a fight that they have to take per se, but they know they have the advantage, and they're looking to find the angles. It's always better to clear out your side of the circle rather than waiting. All they need is one nade right there where that smoke clump is, and that's a 2-pointer for the side of 1 million. But it looks like they're starting to back up instead.
Dropping some smokes from 1 million. Udo Alliance, they are 3 players right now. So aren't really super keen to go for this fight. I mean, they know that 1 million are there. Venom moving in as the backstop. Red face, lone player for EVOS, going to hold off one, and actually the entrance is blocked by the vehicle. They have to go for a second. Looks for two. Can't quite line up for the third. It looked close, but EVOS lose their outpost. Unfortunately, though, for down one, they've taken a hefty hit over in their compound, and look at this backup coming on through. Perfect timing. Can they keep that crash going? But in the meantime, Fireflux a little bit further to the west, suppressing lines. Going down to the vehicle explosion. SKF doesn't even turn his attention that way, and EVOS roll on through. It's going to work out against down one. We're now down to one.
That was a good response by EVOS. Maybe if they were just a little bit more ready for a potential crash on their isolated player, they could have came over and helped quicker and keep all four up. So they will lose one because of that. Meanwhile, on the western side, Nova has just been methodically working their way in on the western edge. And HVVP, of course, somehow finding a knock onto King. These two teams just cannot stop damaging each other. And it's actually answered back by, I believe that was USG getting a knock onto HVVP. I love how this ending circle is playing out. It's not just a close-range fight. It is long-range third parties with close-range fights mixed in.
Jimmy getting pressured by Vampire, who have been playing really consistent. This ball on the southwest side finally getting cut out in the open, and it's Fireflux to play spoiler. That AG does so much damage at the mid-range. Really nice blinking coming through. Tapfire is good. Lutz lights it up, and the fire burns down on the wick of Nova.
Yeah, Nova realized they were in a tough spot and took a gamble to rotate, but two players did not make it. Order is the last one up, though. If there's any solo player out of Nova that usually is able to utilize and maximize points as a solo, it is Order. I have seen Order do great things in the PEL as the last man remaining. So we'll see how this one plays out as the next zone about to shift on out.
HVVP still playing as a unit on the south side. I think they've got all four of them alive, if not mistaken. They might be down to three, but on that south side, they're still going to be playing from a solid compound. It centers very, very accurately. It is a full donor on this shrink.
So we have Alpha 7 on the north side, who's got to make the next big move, I think. They could stay on this ridge line, but knowing Alpha 7, they're going to look for an opening, and then they're going to push off of it. Domon Gaming Forest might be in a good spot to spoil if something happens, that it's a very obscure shack just sitting there. Might not even be cleared out as Fireflux, finally, finding themselves in the late game in a good position with 4. This might be able to bring them back into the game, especially seeing as how they don't want to be eliminated from this stage.
Yeah, I mean, this team from Turkey kind of lackluster so far, but it is only day one. We have seen the tides turn back over in Group Red. It really can change on a dime. Day 1 to day 2 was a dramatic difference. So for the teams at the bottom, they're hoping that it's going to be very, very different for them. Let's see if they can step up a little bit. Udo Alliance, Fireflux, the two that currently still in this. Downward Gaming and Bacon Time, trying to stay away from that bubble.
Order right now being pressured by Vampire. He's the last one up. Nades are raining in. He's in a good spot, though, because those hay bales, it can easily deflect the nades. It's hard to kind of throw the perfect arc in.
Oh!
And Order doing Order things, firing right back. He could get this next one, too. He already picked up one. Second player takes a lot of damage. Ravenclaw starting to bleed out here. They need to deal with Order now. Stone, if anything, just needs to crash right in it, but he's getting third party by Meku.
Oh, the top two of the lobby teaming up on Vampire right now. It's going to be really hard to keep Fluke alive out of this. Ravenclaw, I think you're done for here, mate. Let's be honest. And comes
it was actually Fireflux.
Catch with the Orm. Pops the big green gun, and Solke swings in, and Stone gets... okay, Vampire have had a nightmare here, to be fair. Fireflux actually striking out south. They want in on this fight. HVVP chiming through as well. Order is being kept alive by 3 different teams right now.
Yeah. Oh, don't stick. Oh, that was a close one. That was a close one. That's a haircut right there. And for Fireflux, if they just get a little bit more aggressive, if they sweep a little bit further down the side, I do think they have a great sideline onto the entirety of HVVP here, too. So you see Soul K right now pretty much anchoring down the south side. So Fireflux, if they wanted to, they could stick their heads out a little bit more and cause more damage to the rest of the lobby while still remaining very safe.
The thing now about Order is that his position is known. People know that he's in this area, in this position. So it could be a little bit more tricky. U2 Alliance losing one of their players on the top of the hill. 1 million will be the claimants to that title. Playing against now one player from the U2 Alliance. Down at the bottom of the tables, they will fall down as well. 3 limbs on the game. It's, again, not going to be good enough to see you up a little bit higher on those standings. They'll have to go around for the final game of today, but we'll have to conclude this Miramar first.
New circle comes up, Order not in the zone. I don't think he's going to be able to make it to the next one. We have the side 2 4-man teams. Alpha 7 on the north, or 3. 1 million on the northeast, Alpha 7 on the north, and the 4-man team of Fireflux. This is going to be the most difficult rotation for Fireflux yet, because they lose control of the ridges, and they have to just commit to taking something over now.
7 eliminations on the game for Fireflux. All 4 of them alive. This is the best chance they've had so far to be able to come good on a game. But Solar's getting picked up by Order, who's still going.
Order.
Solo player.
Yeah. The most deadly solo player right here. Just can't take him down. It's going to blow up that buggy. Maybe get the confirmation here.
Look
Smoke
at the
scope.
arrows.
Yeah.
The arrows from HVVP, they're turning that way. And over up on the northeast side, Alpha 7 are clashing with 1 million. At the moment, they're falling short of the mark. 2 players falling in Alpha 7, getting torn asunder here. Nova will be finally eliminated as Order falls to... I didn't quite catch who
It was an
able
Orm.
to pick that one up. Oh, it was an Orm shot coming through
Yeah.
from Fireflux.
Yeah.
Alpha 7 on 2. Soulcase spotted. Matic picks it up.
This is looking really good for HVP. Like I said, if they have to move north, they have these ridges to work with. That puts them in a great advantage over everyone on the high ground. Alpha 7 not done and dusted yet. I thought they were done for, but they're turning it right back onto 1 million. It's actually Revo and his partner Carrillo. 2v4 situation here, John?
They are moving through like a hot knife through butter on this north side. Only one player stands in their way now. Can they keep it going? HVVP on the south side similarly moving strong. Senke, the last for 1 million, still standing. As the flush comes through, Alpha 7 getting that flush. Nade over towards Ketch, just short of the vehicle. HVVP swing down south.
On the side of the Alpha 7 fight, they did get traded back, so now it's down to a 1v1. I think they're going to go for a revive on that northeastern side. HVVP right now just sitting pretty. Down to 3, but they have a lot of control, and no one's taking shots at them, and they know everyone else is busy fighting. That is Catch out to the play zone. We still got a solo out of Damwon Gaming Forest right there, just laying low, and this fight is still continuing to slug on.
Revo finds the re-knock, and now it's just Marshall playing backstop for 1 million. Can look for this flush, but the shots might come through from Marshall. We saw him be a sneaky solo player before over on Sandhawk, but yeah, here they go. Oh, I thought they were going to break out wide, go for the wide swing. They know he's there. They catch an ankle, look for the shots. Carrillo taken low, actually has to hit the deck. Revo has the goods though, and will come up with them. Alpha 7 stay alive with 2, but HVVP in the meantime have moved across the terrain. They are up and on the hillside.
This is a perfect chance for Evos, the third party. If Alpha 7 could get a knock onto HVVP, I feel like HVVP is kind of exposing themselves down the middle. No, actually, that ridge line and slope is so steep. It's actually a great spot for them to just be in. When is Evos going to make a play, or are they just going to wait for these two to fight first?
Matic open to the side swipe from Evos, but they're not going to land the spray. Alpha 7 will have to move south first. The next circle, of course, will just close right to the center. And at the moment, HVVP have the best angle on it.
They're looking for openings right now. I think Evos had a chance right there, but missed one too many shots. Now HVVP is well aware of the angle that they need to be safe from. Alpha 7 doing a great job, just working their way in from the north. I thought they were done for, but they pull out a 2v4 against the side of 1 million.
This is Alpha 7 looking to try and chase down Nova's position in second. Of course, with Nova going down earlier, they will have that in their sights. And if they can take down HVVP early, maybe even move a little bit further forwards. They've managed to rack up quite an impressive elimination count. If HVVP go down now, they definitely have the points profit total, but circle will close, and they are right on the edge of it. Center controlled. HVVP launched that nade. Shots ringing out towards Evos as well, but Alpha 7 bearing the brunt of everybody's damage. Meku spotted by Carrillo, but he will not be able to bring it back. And again, Matic and Tixi on that ridgeline will be able to stay alive. Carrillo finally dispatched, and now it's a 2 versus 2 coming through for HVVP and Evos.
Tight fight. It looks like it's going to be a 2v1 as Tixi goes down. Meku's got the MK14 though, but they're going to get the revive. It's going to be a 1v3. It's not looking good for HVVP from this downhill angle.
They have the center of the zone, and it is closing. It's going to force them there. Does he not see Microboy? I don't think he caught it. Will spot him now, though. Takes a nice little lick and a second as well. Has the time to heal, as there's no chance that they can go for these reses. With the zone pushing in, it's going to go in for the nades. No, he doesn't have any left in the back pocket. Tixi flushed out. No information more. Meku sees the run forwards, sees the dash, has managed to get the heal off, has the sim sticking up, but has the health disadvantage around the side. HVVP claim it, and finally they find the chicken dinner. They don't even need it hard. They're super chill. They're like, yeah, whatever. Just another day in the office.
They're like, yeah. Seems about right. Seems about right.
That's entitlement right there.
Yeah. No, honestly though, with the style of their play, they don't need chicken dinners. They just pick up so many elimination points every game. The chicken dinner that they just got, yeah, it's a great boost in points. 15 points. That is huge. But like mentally for them, they're just like, hey, we got a chicken and a lot of eliminations this time. It's kind of nice. Good job, guys.
I don't think they got as many as maybe they used to there. I mean, yeah, you can add those up quickly. What's that? 7 eliminations on a chicken dinner.
Yeah, that's probably their lowest amount.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, they're trading off those points, right?
Yeah, that's why they're just like, okay, good job, guys. I mean, you usually get more eliminations, but...
I mean, I guess that works, right? So you get points somehow. It's going to be good. But Meku, able to take I think it was a 1 versus 2 towards the end there.
Yeah, it was a 1 versus 2. They never were able to get that revive due to the play zone closing in, and man, that MK14 shot, just so precise, that headshot. And oh man, HVVP. It's way too early to say, but I'm gonna say they're gonna make top 3. And I want to see them do this in the grand finals. Hopefully it's not a drinks, but great game out of them.
Absolutely. From that south side, they just marched forwards and forwards. They never stopped. They put so much pressure on everybody else, forced them into the arena of gladiatorial combat, and gave them the thumbs down at the end. It's HVVP to take the chicken.
HVVP with the second chicken dinner here on the first day of the PUBG Mobile Global Championships Group Green. 22 total points. These guys were already in first place. Man, have they put a nice lead ahead of themselves.
Yeah, they're definitely going to put a nice lead ahead of them with Nova, because Nova ended up with just 6 points. Them being able to put up 22 points, by the way, with only 2 players. That's what's so impressive, and that's what we've been seeing over and over again out of HVVP today so far. It doesn't matter if it's just 1 player alive. It doesn't matter if it's 2 players alive. It's so hard to actually eliminate them, Imperium.
It is, and arguably, look, all of these games that we played today, I don't think we've seen so much of a complete performance bar, maybe the godlike stalwart chicken dinner, right? But again, like you said, what makes HVVP so dangerous is that even when they're down to a trio, they play as a full squad. Looking at the top performers, though, once again, Microboy with 6 eliminations. His team performed a lot stronger this time around, getting, I believe, 12 eliminations in total on that game alone. They're on the rise, and honestly, I could see them challenging for one of those top 3 spots if they aren't already in that position.
Microboy, the legend himself, dude, just coming in strong. That's what we like to see. We got 1 match left today. Aaron Gale, all right? How long is Power surviving in this one?
I knew that was coming.
I don't. They're not gonna hot drop, no, but they can't. This is the point where I would, not to sound too harsh, but I would say it's really silly. Like really silly to hot drop.
I don't know.
Really silly.
Hey, have you ever heard of the saying? 3rd time's a charm.
Yeah, but what is that also that saying when you try the same thing over and over again and expect a different
Something
result?
insanity.
You know? Yeah. So
it's a coin toss.
No.
It's a coin toss. Let us know what you guys think, of course, by using that hashtag PMGC 2022. You think, hot drop being the previous champions is a good idea or not? That's something I want to hear from you guys. But you know what? With this last Aaron Gale going on, we have seen HVVP dominate so far. They're already starting to get on that point. Even though it's only day 1, right? You don't want a team like them getting a very thick lead going into this here. A lot of these teams need to bounce back. 7, which squad are you really looking at to bounce back here in the final game today?
There's so many. I mean, honestly,
I know, right?
There's so many. I'll give you 3, right? I'll give you 1. Vampire Esports. I feel like this is a team that I've been looking at closely, right? A lot of people expect a lot out of them because of what they did in PMWI. So far, they really haven't shown us some of the stuff that we saw in PMWI. And that was always the big question mark with me with Vampire Esports. Now, when we looked at some of the other teams that don't really need to bounce back, but I would hope they finish the day on an exclamation mark point, it's going to be EVOS. I feel like EVOS has performed so well. I mean, I think they're currently, with the performance, they're definitely within the top 3. And same alongside with HVVPV. They just got the win. I want EVOS to also finish off the day great by getting a win.
Like, Indonesia as a region has been extremely strong over the years. And yeah, it would be great for that audience to see EVOS grab a chicken dinner in the first day.
I'm not even worried about the audience. I'm worried about the team. I want the team to get away.
That's right. Let's go. Come on, make it happen here. One last match. You have to rally. This is what I so love about seeing these LANs. You get to see the players. You get to see what they look like. The anger, the frustration after a bad game, the joy of a good game. And, for HVVP, after a good game of chicken dinner, it's just like this. Good job.
Yeah.
This is how you do it. That's how you get it done. But let's see how EVOS is about to do right here, because we got a great interview with them. Let's go ahead and take it over to Choo Choo.
Hi everyone, you guys are back with me, Choo Choo. I'm here again for you, but this time we have the very tall, handsome, and amazing Microboy, as always, coming out from EVOS. So we do have a couple of questions for him and for EVOS as well. So how do you feel after 5 matches? Out of 10, what would you rate the state of your team right now?
Dari 5 pertandingan yang tadi sudah dilakukan, jadi dari 1 sampai 10 kira-kira berapa angka yang mau kamu kasih?
Setelah menjalani 5 match tadi, sekarang jadi lebih pede sih untuk ngelawan tim-tim lain, dan rate untuk timku di PMGC ini ya mungkin kita di angka 8 lah. Ya aku bangga juga dengan anak-anak timku. Semoga harapannya mereka bisa tetap konsisten dan kita bisa lolos PMGC di tahun ini.
After having the 5 matches, so we are getting more confident, and together with everyone in the team, so now we are getting more confident for the next game, and hopefully we can get better we can be consistent and also can be better for the next matches.
Yeah, it kind of shows when it comes to your overall ranking right now, which is quite good if you ask me, and you can just top it off the chart anytime soon. So you were very close, very close to win the previous match, but HVVP were just tiny bit stronger. In which area do you think you need to improve in case to get that chicken dinner just now?
Tadi dari HPVP sepertinya kalian sedikit lagi bisa memenangkan HPVP. Nah, jadi kira-kira apa yang kalian bisa lakukan untuk nanti bisa melakukan lebih baik lagi dan mengalahkan HPVP?
Yang bakal kita lakuin di next match ya seperti biasa, kita tetap ikutin arahan coach dan main seperti biasanya dengan enjoy, dan harapannya kita bisa membalas kekalahan kita melawan HPVP nanti.
So what we are going to do next, so we are going to follow like the guides given by the coach, and also we are going to work together to be better, and then so hopefully we can do it really well for the next matches.
Hopefully that's going to happen soon. But for last one, you have anything to say, especially for your rivals HPVP or even your supporters out there?
Ada yang ingin disampaikan nggak untuk HPVP atau untuk pendukung kalian semua di luar sana?
Buat HPVP, tunggu aja pembalasan kita. Dan buat fans, terutama EVOS fans, semoga kalian tetap mendukung kita di ajang PMGC kali ini. Semoga kita bisa memberikan yang terbaik dan lolos bersama AE di Grand Final Indonesia nanti.
So for HPVP, just wait for our battle. So we're gonna beat you, and also for all the supporters. So please wish us all the best so that we can go to the grand final later on.
Things get really spicy here right now, but we're gonna toss over back towards the casters and panelists. This is Choo Choo, and also the IGL of EVOS, none other than Microboy. And see you guys in a bit. Casters, keep it rolling and keep it amazing. Bye.
You said bye, we say hi. We are back, and you know what? It's time to say hello to our best solo performers. And of course, it's none other than the legend Microboy. We just saw him talk to us right here. And by the way, this is from whenever a player dies on your team and you're able to play by yourself. And Microboy put up 12 points as a solo 7.
I mean, that's an amazing performance. So far today, we have seen him put up, I think it's over 5 eliminations in 2 matches. That's impressive.
Impressive indeed. What else is impressive? You guys following us, hitting that button. It may be a red button that says subscribe, maybe a blue one that says follow. Press it. Let's take a look at the overall rankings. HVVP, man, 71 points here.
This is what I thought with Evos. I kind of, if they weren't already challenging, that they have jumped over Alpha 7 and Nova to go into second place. And I gotta say, and you mentioned at the end of the last game as well, 7, Nova dropped down kind of quite a bit. Yeah, okay, it's definitely manageable, but in terms of what they were doing in the first kind of 2 to 3 games, it's been a bit of a downward trend.
Yeah, another team that's kind of dropping as we are going to be going towards the next match. Erangel has been bacon time. They were in 11th place, and this is a team that has a chicken dinner, so not where you want to be there for bacon time. Maybe they can turn it around here in the Erangel coming up.
It's not about how you start, right? It's about how you finish at the end of the day. So you can start with a chicken dinner as we look at the top Erangel performance, but you got to be able to follow it up in some way. What is a massive thing for me to look at is godlike stalwart, guys. Of their total 36 points that they've gotten in today's game so far, 35 of them have come from the Erangel games. That is massive, and arguably not in a good way.
Yeah. At least right now
Arguably.
they're performing in the map that we do play the most, right? So that's kind of going their way, but everything else, not the stats that you want to have.
Hey, teams to watch. 7 with the really tough pick of HVVP right there. EVOS as well, and Nova. Hey, I gotta admit, those are some really serious big boy players to watch here, 7.
Yeah, and I mean, with HVVP, I actually picked that before they won the last match, and I transferred it to EVOS. And now I want EVOS to actually be able to get a chicken dinner, because these teams have just been performing so well that if they can get that just out of the way in day 1, you love to see it. And then with Nova, with the performance that we saw, with the overall that we saw, you're starting to see a bit of a gap there. Not something you want to see at the end of the day. Hopefully they can pick it up.
I went for 3 teams. Yeah, I went for kind of the other direction, where I wanted to kind of give a little bit of a highlight of the teams that realistically haven't performed that well, or enough that obviously they're in their current position. Power, they've suffered their own fault due to hot dropping. That's up to fix or not fix. For you do Alliance, there's just a little bit of higgledy-piggledy play from them. They show tiny sparkles of brilliance, but not enough as a full team, not enough in the longevity of the game. And yeah, for bacon time, they got to get back up to find a crispiness.
Yep. Well, higgity dirt, it's time to go to our casters.
We're coming over here. We'll hopefully look at a little less higgledy-piggledy and more straight and narrow as we head into our final game of the day. We haven't gone crazy just yet. We'll save that for day 4 of this week of Group Red, or Group Green even, sorry. Group Red was last week. That was a whole other ball game.
Can you imagine, John, the last day of this group? Just like it's like these teams, like the hardest hitting teams, if they're not in that top 3, they're going to do whatever they can. We saw in the first week, LGD, targeted a team to try and break into the top 3. Can you imagine this group when you have so many heavy hitters and only 3 can be in the top 3? How hard they're going to go all out on the last day to get themselves there.
Yeah, I think we could see sparks start to fly, but we've yet to see that top really emerge. At the moment, we're looking at 5 teams who are really in that top pack, and the spread on those is 21 points. I mean, first down to 5th is 21 points difference. 71 to 50 points is the difference there, but we're looking at 1 Million, Nova, Alpha 7, EVOS, and HVVP as those 5 teams at the moment in that front-running pack. But we've not even played a quarter of the games yet, so there's definitely time to change that completely.
Definitely not. We still got a lot of games, like you said, and also I just want to throw this out there. Nova is in 4th place overall. That's with 2 very bad Erangel games where they only got 4 points, right? And Erangel, in my opinion, is their best map. So if it were not for the hot drops, right, maybe tomorrow, they won't be as contested. We might see Nova start doing, Nova things on Erangel, which is their strongest map, so that's something to think about. They're in 4th place overall with 2 bad games on their best map.
Gatka is absolutely available on this drop. It looks like we are going to see both Power and Nova heading out that direction already. I feel like we might be seeing this again. I feel like we have another hot drop on the cards. I'm wondering if this is a little bit of a we're not going to make an adjustment on the fly call. Like we're going to stick to our guns here and just try and go for it and not readjust because we're going to wait for the day to end to try and change that. But it looks like maybe Power are drawing a little bit short of Gatka this time.
Yeah,
they have.
It is very difficult to stretch all the way to Gatka, and maybe after losing 2 hot drops in a row in a very disastrous manner, they might have decided to just give it up. Sure, if the plane path flew right over Gatka, we might have seen a hot drop. But this, in a way, is kind of like showing them, all right, we don't have to take Gatka. We could drop somewhere else, and they'll probably have a better game than statistically, right? Unless if they get eliminated immediately by a different team, they'll do better than they have dropping against Nova for this match. So that might just play into things coming up to tomorrow and the rest of the days where the hot drop will no longer happen.
What I'm interested in now is, do Nova try and move further north? We're going to see Nova's rotations unleashed, right, in this early game because we're 2.5 minutes in and they're not fighting. So they have those opportunities to make decisions.
Yeah. They might be in a collision course right now, though, as, I'm seeing that on the minimap. Hopefully the camera will pan over before the fight starts happening. Okay.
So they're diverting.
Yeah, it looks like they got close, and now they're subverting. It's Nova's just doing a little bit of a split loot, and Power doing the same, just basically mirroring each other, not necessarily clashing, though. And, yeah, there's that Power. Those 2 Power players that are turning back to the way that they came from. Looks like Power is struggling to figure out where to go, though. I thought they would just grab the buggy or maybe they're looking for more vehicles because all they have is just 1 buggy.
I mean, it would make sense. It's likely that you're going to want to head somewhere like South George, maybe even breaching over towards North George on this sort of a circle.
Yeah, I think they just only managed to find the 1 buggy, so they were looking for another vehicle, not able to find it. they're going to be hurting for loot and vehicles for the rest of the game. As for everyone else, it looks like everyone dropped where they wanted to. HVVP with a long rotation into North George Pool, which is their primary looting location on Erangel. And seems like this is going to be a calm game. Finally, after 4 straight games of nonstop action, John, we're going to have a game where there is no fighting.
You said it now. You said it now. All the teams are going to start fighting in about 30 seconds. Guaranteed, 100%.
Oh,
Very, very wide split on the north side from 1 million, leaving 2 over to Gameshki, 2 near Severny. Actually, someone in a boat on the north side of Severny.
Oh, yeah.
So going for a real big rotation there to come in on the north side of the circle. Fireflux went on the western coast up towards South George, so they leapfrog ahead of Nova to get there. But Nova looked like they want to draw short, play in the Everest Foothills compounds.
I don't think there's a lot of loot, honestly, with this Nova split. Maybe they're going to spread out a little bit more after they loot those bigger compounds and pick up some more utility and items. But Nova is a team that always loots like scrap compounds, I'd say, and they make the best of it, and it works for them. This first circle being kind of centered just a little bit to the west of Pachinki, so nothing definitive yet. I mean, it could even go north. There is a portion of the North Erangel Island in play. So I think everyone's just going to bide their time here. No real engagements that's going to happen. No power positions that any teams want to fight for right now in the very first zone, as there's still a lot of question marks as to where this could end up going to.
At the moment, Yudu Alliance playing in ruins, probably one of the strongest positions right now, but it's going to be difficult to leave if it moves away from there. It's likely that they will stay in the next circle, though, from that very, very central position. I think it is literally slap bang middle on that castle ruin, just to the southwest of that central island that sits in the middle of the river.
Man, I'm not used to this. We're going to have to actually talk
Nothing's
about
happening.
things.
What's going on?
Because there's no action. And this is, usually it works the opposite way around, right? Like, first game starts out slow and it ramps up. Now this is the complete opposite. We've gone from hot in the water to just ice cold. And teams are just playing it slow now. Looks like Nova is making somewhat of a rotation. That might actually be their full-out rotation, as not much more to loot in the Gatka area.
I mean, it would be about a minute prior to now when Nova might have finished that engagement with power in the previous games, right? And then they're coming through and looking where to go. But they've already been on the road for this entire time, so they've managed to get a lot more position. Looking at the damage proportion, I think this is fairly expected. Tixi topping the tables, 2.7k right now for HVVP. They have been on the warpath really, really significantly. Kitsune hasn't had as much impact on those damage tables. Ooh, Paraboy. Pause
It's
that.
power once again.
Ooh, that's not good for Paraboy. Will be plowed down there in the fields. And Power, they're going to be able to pick up the point, leaving Nova at 3. And in a very central position, you don't want to be left with only 3 players alive.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate for Nova. I can't imagine how many Nova fans, especially over the side in China right now, just absolutely hate Power's guts. Like,
can you imagine?
Because Nova's got a die-hard fandom. Like, die-hard.
Oh, yeah.
Fandom, yeah. So it's like, this team, Power, is causing Nova so much issues right now, and even though Nova are down to 3, at least they secure a very strong position in center of circle. But like we mentioned before, John, we have no idea where this circle is going to head to still. It is still the very first circle, and there is still a lot of strong positions that could easily impact the rest of the game if it just goes south, west, east, or even north.
I feel like if it does hard shift, no matter which direction, it's going to be really, really hard. Sometimes you get hard shifts that are sort of kind of okay because people kind of knew already that it was going to finish in that sort of area. But we'll have to wait and see. We are waiting on tenterhooks for that one. EVOS, Desk said they wanted to see the chicken dinner come out from this squad. Right now they're playing out in the blue. I think, yeah, they're on the southwest side, just passing by Quarry right now.
Yeah.
They're right underneath the picture-in-picture, which is why you can't see them. But they are going to be swinging on in on that western side, and there's the south shift. So that is going to isolate the south side of the river.
That's a big shift. It cuts out, the Everest. It cuts out the North Island. We know it's not going to be somewhere far in the east anymore. And this area of the map's probably one of the most commonly played Erangel zone endings. I know this is only Circle 2, but immediately this circle compared to the other Erangel games, well, I mean, we did have a military base, but like everyone kind of knows what's up now. Like which positions to take, what we can do from each position starting in Circle 2 already, and they kind of have a good idea of how to play the rest of the game out.
Pittsburgh Knights been having a fairly difficult day so far. Currently in 12th position. They have picked up an elimination so far on the game, finding a player from... Actually, who have they found a player from? I can only spot Nova, who've lost a player.
Stalwarts, actually.
Oh, yeah, there they are.
Of course.
Sneaking little bar, getting away from me. Yeah, Godlike Stalwart. I mean, why not?
Man, Stalwarts is... What do you think it is? Stalwarts just having a couple of bad games, now the nerves are getting to them, and they're just, like, losing players haphazardly?
Not entirely sure, but we'll have to double check. U2 Alliance playing on the sunken south side. They've going to have to play with 3, though, after losing Repo Boy on the southwest. HVVP have moved down south. They're playing in the powerful compound in the foothills of Everest on the eastern side of it. Fireflux a little bit further to their west. And 1 Million taken up residency in the top of the ruins.
Everyone posturing up now. A lot of strong positions to be taken, and I think they're all taken, honestly. Everybody's in a good spot. It just comes down to how they play it out in the subsequent circle shift. We have power here. I think this is one of the positions that Nova wanted, which was why Paraboy, drove so close to that position. And I've seen in the PL, Nova plays that position quite a lot, and they're quite comfortable with it. They were just a little bit too slow. Alpha 7 coming in from the edge of the map. Same with HVVP on the northwest. So, like, something I'm noticing with HVVP, right? If the circle shifts away from them, they don't go more center. If it shifts in a way where they can move more center, they'll stay on the edge and block out everyone on the backside. That's what they did on Miramar. That's what they did on Miramar. Or, did I say Miramar? That's what they did.
You said it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they did do that twice on Miramar. I thought of the last game, and so I said Miramar. And then I thought of the second game, which was also Miramar, so I said it twice.
That's true. That's fair.
But that is what they do. They don't go more center. Once they're on the edge of zone, they block everyone on the backfill, and then they just work in from the edge. So I think that's exactly what they're going to do for this zone as well.
Try and play from the... I mean, it is a very solid compound for the surrounding area that they're playing from. They're going to have excellent oversight onto plenty of players. Skylights going to try and res on up that central island and move through. Down 1 moving into Vampire, but it is being traded off back and forth. The staircase, brutal, but stoned last to fall. And Down 1 will take them down. 16th place for Vampire. 6th place overall. I mean, 39 points isn't bad on the day. It's going to put them in 6th for now. Teams around them looking to leapfrog, and actually Down 1 probably the worst team to give those eliminations over towards. But they don't really have much of a choice.
Very strong, successful hard crash. I think, yeah, it was Down 1 that definitely crashed in as Vampire were on the top of the stairs there. HVVP lose 1 player, and this is the problem, right? They usually always keep their backs clear, but this time around, they get caught off guard by the Alpha 7. Now they're sandwiched between Inko and Alpha 7. Now this is out of the comfort zone of HVVP. They usually always have the edge of zone, but Alpha 7, another team that's strong on the edge, is going to take that position over HVVP.
Likely that they're going to have to leave from this position, though, fairly soon, and HVVP can kind of shelter under the sightlines from Alpha 7. You'd imagine that they're just going to have to go for a straight-up crash if they want to take it down. Over on the northeastern side, the route of egress from the sunken city going to be fraught with danger.
Bacon Time holding out Udo Alliance. Bacon Time also in a strong position, even though it's on the edge. They have those giant mountains just to their south that could give them a lot of sight lines and options to play with. But first they need to deal with Udo Alliance. We see 2 players here. The third player of Udo actually still in the ruins area. So Udo Alliance getting very separated from each other. Not sure what happened there. Maybe the 2 other players can sneak on in, but Bacon Time definitely is quite aware of their positions.
Shots over the top, 1 million. Bombarded on the north side. Suppressed, under siege. The next circle could prove to be troublesome. Hard southwest shift, wow, over towards Evos. I mean, this is their chance now.
Yeah, that's a huge circle shift. You know, I was saying earlier at the beginning of the day, you know, with the circle sizing differences, the shifts won't be as bad, but I think that's the biggest hard shift we've seen yet. As Bacon Time, yep, Udo Alliance forced to make the push. Bacon Time right now with the man advantage, but 1 player goes down, and actually with the support from way deep in ruins actually comes into play. But it's still down to the 2 members here to finish off the 2v2.
Ooh, burned down from Bacon Time. Forced to retreat down the stairs. Udo Alliance, I mean, they're holding off. They're doing okay, and actually doing fairly successful now as the tides start to turn. Ice down, player also falling on the ground floor. Another shot, but it's traded off finally, leaving Noise alone for Bacon Time. This is a team that has been quiet since the first game, where they were able to frag out and control the round. Udo Alliance holding them in Sunken. They do have this blue zone right on their doorstep, but the push has to come through. It will sweep in, and Noise falls. Udo Alliance alive with 2, potential to res up to 3.
Yeah, this blue zone's really ticking. I think he's just going to have to go. He's going to have to leave that teammate behind because none of them are in zone either. This area of the map, by the way, all the hard cover is pretty much more or less taken, and you have the field finished. We have Chopsticks in play, and that giant hayfield pretty much covers the majority of the map.
Going to be a lot of open ground, and the fact that Fireflux have sequestered themselves in the middle could be quite valuable already. Alpha 7 moving down. HVVP yet to make that lead in. Power playing in a strong position, actually. A little bit closer to Gatka. And the Chopsticks providing sanctuary for Evos.
A lot of teams fighting right now for the control on this eastern side. That hillside is partially in zone, so we see Star Wars right there trying to take control of it. Nova right now forced to give that spot up. They're trying to reconvene to rotate somewhere. They're not in zone here. USG also not in zone. 1 million on the northeast and ruins so many teams still not yet in zone. So it is a mad dash, a fight to get the edge control on this eastern side.
It is really all about that northeastern side right now. The team's already in the fields. They're chilling for a while. Pittsburgh Knights, unlikely that they're going to push super far forwards from this point. At the moment, they're probably going to wait it out just a little bit. Maybe try and crash later on when there's a little bit more chaos to try and capitalize. But that northeastern side has about 5 teams looking to get in. Godlike Stalwart, they lost a player early. Pika falling, and they do not want to close this day out with another bad performance. They've had the one. And the Erangel, as the desk was saying, is 35 of their 36 points. So they do need these. They do need these Erangels to go well for them. So if you're going to not play essentially in 50% of your games, then you're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, 35 of the... That's crazy to think about. Udo Alliance, this blue zone, you can see it here, taking really hard. This player's pretty much full boosted too, and he's not going to be able to make it in. Star Wars Esports on that northern hill. They will manage to take control of it. That's great for them as USG coming in on the lower side on that northeast side. Also finds himself a decent position, opens up with 2 and crashes right on in. Time to clear the circle, pick up those points. I like what USG is doing here.
Oh wow, hard south shift as well. Going to move down towards the players already entrenched, meaning everybody now on the north swathe will be caught out in the cold. HVVP start to open up the gas on that north edge. Looking out to play spoiler to everyone over there. Skylights in the meantime, struggling to keep themselves together. They're not even solidly into this next circle. They're all the way out on the northeastern side. They're going to have to figure out how to move yet again if they survive this reign of terror.
long-range shots coming out for STE. Inko looking to pick up some points onto the Donuts USG team, Star Wars Esports. Trying to answer right back with some points. That could be a good nade if it connects. That player won't be able to get revived either, as Mafioso on the elimination feeds gets the snipe right onto HVVP. And Order, is he the last up again? I think he is. Yeah, Order once again, the last player remaining alive for the side of Nova.
Still going, but if you're going to slip out of the top 3, this is the way to do it, right? Like, you just keep going with solo performances, and not even the top solo performer at that. In come Inko on the big crash. 2 players lit up immediately, but they do trade it 1-for-1. And a player V22K finally looking for more Solus again, trading off the numbers, and it's going back and forth between the squads. Squash is low, is losing Nenebeti on the forefront, leaves Inko in a 1 versus 2 right now. Solke and Lutz trying to hold it together. Squash puts the bullet through the window, but needs to try and force the heal. There's a wide flank coming through, should be on the broadside, but just gets back to cover. They're picking up these flushes in the meantime, and Lutz playing from the inside leaves them alone. Squash still trying to pop this medkit, trying to get himself back in the fight. Lutz lets him get past the window, floods all the way around the side. Now still in this 2 versus 1, as another player looking to get flushed, trades around, but finally put to the juicer. Squash eliminated. Fireflux stay up as 4, but they need these reses fast.
Yeah, luckily for them, no one third-party that. No one was able to crash in because every team is just fighting on the outskirts of that building. Nova did get taken out by Alpha 7. Now, Alpha 7 coming in from the western side as a 4-man team. They're looking very strong here in this position. And what a valiant try and effort with that crash out of Inko. But yeah, it did not go their way. That medkit took forever to pop off, and they managed to get it. All the meanwhile, Power has been sitting there chilling. They've racked up 5 elimination points for themselves.
Managed to pick up some point. I mean, launching themselves off the bottom of the tables is really quite tight at that pack. So good news for them. HVVP down to 2 on the northern side. Meku, Tixi, heavy hitters for the squad. We've seen how impactful they can be. They are in this next zone, but they have a lot of field to cover here. 4 limbs, and Evos not going to want this one to get away from them. Their chance at the chicken dinner.
Oh, the Knights are still alive too on the south side.
They're still pushing him. You know, they've been biding their time. They've been chilling.
Yeah. Oh, they got the chopsticks too. The end of the chopsticks in zone. That's actually a very good position given how small the circle is. Luckily for the side of HVVP, they also get the edge of zones, shifting right up north to them. Now, Alpha 7, I do imagine they're going to end up taking a fight if they could get the opening onto. Yep, and just as I say it, Fireflux, they get an opening onto them. Is the push coming out now?
M24 in the hands of Mafioso, looking to take a couple helmets. Maybe a little bit more than that if he's lucky. Fireflux playing central on the area. Still as 4, but taking a little bit of damage. We'll be able to res back up. Staying alive for now. Donuts USG will have to leapfrog forwards. They have got that forward outposts in Noato.
And it's down to Evos and Alpha 7 now to make the next move. We did see Alpha 7 looking and eyeing the very top northern edge of zone. They're either going to take this and sweep to the north, or they have to take the full committed fight against Fireflux. But Fireflux does have 4, so even for Alpha 7, that's going to be a tough fight because they're going to have to crash into a very hunkered down and defensed up position out of Fireflux.
Sprays onto the vehicle for power. And these buildings very, very valuable. All 4 of them alive. Naoto. Donuts USG takes heavy damage, but stays behind the cover, gets back in. Wants to pop some healing. Coops spotted out by Evos there on the southwest side, and it's going to move away from them. They'll have to leave the chopstick finally.
The Alpha 7 tried to do a sneak play to get closer, but that did not work. And now Spec also knocked. I think the Knights are okay though. They're just, trying to play a little bit louder, peeking their heads up and over the chopsticks to find some damage. And here's Alpha 7 play now. They are going to go ahead and still continue with that push. It's a 3v4 as more and more Alpha 7 players get taken out.
teams out in the open field starting to get cut down, scythed through by the sightlines available. Tixie spotted. Really solid spray there from top coming through. Surprising that he was able to manage to pull that one off. Should be Resable in the position for HVVP, but still a slowdown that might allow Godlike Stalwart to get a little bit more of a better position on this north side.
Knights hold strong. Still with 4 up. Evos forced out of their side of the chopstick will go down to 1 member. Redface, last one up. Power still looking good, picking up another point, up to 6 now with 4 people up with the strongest position and Compound left in the zone.
Power on the southeast side trying to bring it back. We talked about how Fireflux are doing really well on their elimination count. Maybe Power are going to be able to pick this one up. There's 6 elims already as well. Towards the bottom of the table, so it would be a really good result to catapult up those standings at the end of day 1. Donuts USG spotted out by Tixie. They did get back up to 2 on the north side, but have to move.
They could maybe prone their way in. I think the grass is already rendered for the side of Power, so they won't be able to see clearly if the side of HVVP try to prone in, but Power is sitting so comfortable. They could watch every which direction they want to with no pressure, so they might spot something out. As USG finally losing the zone behind this tree, they're going to try and do a smoke path and run their way in, but you have Fireflux now taking shots at those smokes. One player goes down. Lufa last up.
And off the meds, send it forwards. I mean, you're going to take the L there, and either way, fortunately, will fall down. So 5 teams remain now. Fireflux at 4, Pittsburgh Knights and Power all at 4, all in that red zone, that elimination bracket. So a really solid result for all 3 of these teams.
Oh, they managed to find a finish onto Fireflux. The Knights managed to take one down. That is a huge mistake when you're in Fireflux's position with so much cover. Getting knocked, sure, it's fine, but getting knocked and finished, that is a huge, huge loss for the side of Fireflux. They're up to 13 eliminations though, which is great. But when it comes down to the final 3 teams, you would want to have 4 because the other 2 teams, the Knights and Power, with 4 alive.
I don't think anyone would have called this final circle, the 3 teams alive here. Fireflux, Pittsburgh Knights and Power, but here we are in that very timeline. Pittsburgh Knights and Power at 4, Fireflux on 3.
I do think the Knights is in the worst spot though. They're not likely to get the next circle, and all eyes on them. If they have to leave that chopstick ditch, there is no cover. It's all flat ground. Their vehicles are inside the ditch. They're not going to be able to use anything. They could drop a wall of smokes, but that is just going to insinuate Power to spam smoke so extremely hard. I don't think the Knights can manage to make it out of this one, not as a full squad at least.
Looming that smoke. They do still have that edge to play the cover. The backlines of Power will have to move potentially a little bit faster on this next circle. So might be a little bit of an issue for their sight lines, but they do have those buildings to move towards.
Good zone for Power here. Majority control. Fireflux will have to move out of cover. They do have like maybe a few ridges just close to them, but easily in nade range, especially with that watchtower position that one of the Power member has. This is the game for Power. If they lose this, I would have to say it's because it was a throw. And Coops, if anyone can get an opening, it would be Coops. Is the Knights going to make a move off that? They kind of have to. Zone is starting to close.
Kante has the sight line. Swapping the weapons back and forth. Can't quite decide what he wants to go for. M4 is the selection in the end. Spots Xenox. Move up and hit the deck behind the buggy. Jumps into the vehicle. Oh, clipping the roof there with the bullets. Is really going to hamper them. Not able to land the shots over towards Fireflux either. And Power's position is slipping just that little bit. That crate that could be moved forward to by the Pittsburgh Knights could be very, very valuable. They're out in the open now. Spec hits the deck. What's the drop shot? But Solus is on the ball for Fireflux. And again, in the watchtower, Power rain down bullets. And it looked like it was a little bit ropey for a while, but now they're starting to put the pieces together. The puzzle is taking shape, and the Power is starting to turn up to 11 here. All 4 of them still alive. They will wipe out the Pittsburgh Knights with 5 eliminations, and Fireflux now have the full attention of Power.
Oh, the nade's raining in. It's getting close. We've got 2 more people pushing up. Another nade hit. It is all but said and done. They will get the revive, but I think this is it. Power will end up taking this game.
Catch, the last standing for the squad. A fearsome player in his own right will be able to find 1, but position is now known and a sliver of HP is there. Last shots land, and it's Power to end the day with a chicken dinner.
Wow. Just wow. You don't take a hot drop with Nova and you end up getting a chicken dinner.
Look at that.
What a drastic difference in performance for the Power team on Erangel. No hot drop, no going out first, and you end up getting the chicken now, albeit they got so heavily zone blessed. They made 1 rotation, and that's where the zone ended. All the way through, it just kept closing and closing on that compound, which, by the way, is such a strong compound. And with the way the zone played out, they had full control of every single team. No pressure on them whatsoever. So great win for them, and I'm glad they took the win because I don't think any team is going to get that lucky again. So hopefully they'll take this and run with it and manage to bring themselves out of the bottom rankings.
They got a whole host of eliminations to go with it. I mean, look at that. What's that? Like 15 elims, something like that? Yeah, 15 will be the total for them on that chicken dinner. So they're able to get 30 points on the game, and that is massive. I mean, currently, I think the bubble sits at around 30 points on the overall standings. So the fact that you're able to, with 1 game, put yourself towards that line, if not over it, I imagine they are over it now after that, is really, really solid.
Yeah, great game out of Power. We've seen teams like that get zone blessed and they, mess up somehow. So they at least executed that well. Good game for the Knights too. Not an easy one, but they managed to, show signs of life on the last one. HVVP, this is probably their worst game, but still picked up points.
Yeah, doing quite a lot of work there. Power, obviously, getting massive points on board. Fireflux as well, with huge elimination count in the bottom spots. It seemed like it was the bottom of the tables to close out the day for us in style.